So for any campaign that is run, we would look at 3 or 4 factors of criteria beyond metrics and KPIs. One is we also try to understand what type of audience segments are working, and then help acquire or target more precise audiences. Number 2, we would also look at the overall customer journey, understanding the customer journey, the drop-off points and the touch points. We would help improve those the touch points or the journey that the customer goes through in order to elevate not only the overall performance of the campaign and achieve better results, but also to provide a better customer experience for the customers of our clients. So this elevates the overall CX, resulting in not only better conversion rates, but also helping retain customers for a longer period of time. It will always go to where the media consumption is happening. So depending on the persona and the audience segments and where they consume majority of their media or majority of their content is how those channels, the channel emphasis comes into play. So there could be some segments spending more time on YouTube, and a subsegment of that segment might be spending a lot of time on TikTok. So depending on their preferences and media consumption is how we would play around with the channels. I believe from market to market, it's slightly different. No major differences, but maybe slight differences. We've noticed while short form content is being consumed significantly, there are certain segments of audiences that relate more towards like banking or financial services product, consuming more long form content. So according to that preferences, we've also kind of adjusted certain campaigns where we serve predominantly long form content for those particular segments, while also serving short form content for the other segments that typically work with. The general consensus is that the TikTok generation prefers short form content, but the same segment when we try to acquire them for a banking or an insurance product, they prefer long form content. And they would prefer, rather than a brand ad, they would prefer another influencer or another KOL talking about their experience with the product. So hence long form content in that manner had worked well in the past, and it's continuing to work. In my personal point of view, it's a cycle, right? So a couple of years ago, brands were focused on driving more awareness, reaching more customers. And then 3-4 years later, they were like, hey, we have sufficient amount of awareness. Where is the consideration? Then everyone's focus shifted towards consideration. And then double down during the COVID period, everyone was like, we have sufficient awareness, we have consideration. Where are my conversions? Then performance marketing kind of took a huge rise, and everyone was focused on conversion-driven campaigns. But then again, you see that going back to stage 1, okay, we have got enough conversion within what we can do within the audiences we have tapped in. Where are my newer customers? Where are my newer audiences? So going back to driving more awareness. In that sense, channels that are prone to drive more awareness, be rich media, be digital out of home, be third-party inventories, beyond the Googles and the Metas, these channels can take a positive place within the crowded ad ecosystem right now. Decent balance. There are brands that follow what has worked over the years, but there are other brands who are also experimenting. So usually you would see, predominantly the brands would follow, okay, let's come up with a big message idea, big campaign strat, and then that translates into a media plan and execution. But also you see certain brands focusing on the audience first strategy or audience first approach. Who are my audiences? Who are my target audiences? Based on those target audiences, they kind of personify those audiences into 3, 4, 5 different segments. And based on those personas, they determine where are they spending most of their time? What is the type of content they're consuming? In which format are they consuming the content? Then they go along with the media strategy. So you see a good blend between both. And all brands have avoided shooting in the dark.